I've built hundreds of n8n workflows and I've taught thousands of people how to use it. And for the first time, I'm telling people to stop, mostly. And that's not because n8n is bad. It's definitely not. But something has changed over the last 6 months, which has altered the calculus about when you should and should not use n8n to solve your problems. And if you're building AI systems for yourself or for clients, it is imperative that you understand where that line is because it's not in the same place it used to be. Up until about 6 months ago, if you wanted to create a complex AI automation or agent, the answer was pretty clear as for what tool you should use, especially if you were non-technical. And that was n8n. Because the alternatives at the time was either writing real code or using the earlier versions of these agentic coding agents like Claude Code or Cursor. And now those agentic coding agents were very strong, but the truth was to get the most out of them, you did need to understand how to write code. You had to get your hands dirty very often. But now that's completely changed because tools like Claude Code, Codex, and Anti-Gravity have gotten so good and so user-friendly that you don't need to know how to code to get the most out of these. And if you are using those particular tools, the ceiling for what you can do with them has actually passed n8n. And because of that dynamic, n8n's limitations have become a lot harder to ignore. So in this video, we're going to dive deep into those limitations so you can come out of here with a better sense of when n8n makes sense and when it doesn't. Because this is not by any means an n8n hit piece. n8n is simply a tool, but we need to be educated about when n8n is the best tool for the job and when we should start using coding agents like Claude Code. So let's kick this off by talking about the three primary areas that n8n struggles when we compare it to agentic coding agents like Claude Code. And remember, it's not just Claude Code. You could insert Anti-Gravity, Codex, OpenCode, any of those, right? But I'll continue to reference Claude Code throughout this video. Now, those three areas where n8n struggles are scalability, speed to deployment on complex projects, and commercial licensing. Now, let's start with scaling. And there's two parts to scaling. The first part is scaling of the project itself. So imagine I have some sort of project that's inside of n8n and it's now 50 or 60 nodes. Might sound extreme, but there are use cases where we need this. And the issue with n8n is once we get to those wild levels of code nodes and just nodes in general, it starts to become rather brittle. And as it becomes more brittle and larger in general, chances are we're also tossing in a lot more code nodes in our workflow itself, which then begs the question, why are we even in n8n in the first place? But as you take a workflow and add more deeply nested logic, more loops, more error handling, you begin to see some of the issues with the n8n infrastructure. Because the equivalent of those 50, 60 node solutions inside of n8n could very easily just be a few hundred lines of code inside of something like Claude Code, which is much easier to test and scale. Which brings us to the second point of scaling, and that's throughput and thinking of how many users might be using this thing all at once. If we're trying to run hundreds of things in parallel, deal with thousands of API calls every hour, and deal with very large data sets, chances are, again, n8n is going to struggle here. And the solutions for those scenarios inside of n8n eventually lead you towards some hacky type things, right? Where you're kind of going outside of the box with n8n to make it work. And when you get to the place where you're trying to do hacky solutions to actually solve your problem with n8n, again, you need to ask yourself, why am I doing this and not using a tool like Claude Code and using real code to solve the problem in the manner it's meant to be solved? Because when you're handling these large, complex projects, inevitably you begin to hit bottlenecks inside of n8n, and there's easy solutions inside of a normal coding ecosystem to solve that. Now, the second issue with n8n is its speed to deployment when it comes to complex projects. Now, this might surprise some of you because speed to deployment is kind of n8n's thing, but it's really only n8n's thing when it's with simple or medium difficulty projects. When we're dealing with complex issues, the fact is it is infinitely faster for me to hop inside of n8n or Codex and prompt my way to the solution versus going inside of n8n and trying to tie a bunch of nodes together. And that also includes if I'm on n8n's cloud version, which isn't available on the self-host, and that's their workflow builder. Furthermore, the output I get with real code is going to be easier to iterate upon, easier to test, and easier to add things onto it later down the line. Now, the third area where n8n struggles is commercial licensing. And this doesn't really get talked about enough. And I think it's because n8n's fair use policy is very confusing. n8n is not open source, and I've seen it referenced as open source by a lot of creators, and that's simply not true. It uses a fair use policy. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means if I build something that's awesome inside of n8n and I want to sell it or use it as a SaaS project, well, I can, but only in certain instances. And those instances are if my application I built in n8n does not require the user to give me credentials. So imagine I built a personal assistant. Imagine I built my version of OpenClaw inside of n8n. Well, that might require you to give me your email credentials or your Gmail credentials or whatever credentials. Can't do that inside of n8n, right? And there's many, many scenarios you can imagine that would require the customer to give their credentials for whatever reason to make the app work. You can't do that in n8n. And what that means is you're very limited in what you can create inside of n8n and then turn around and make a SaaS project. So in terms of using n8n to build something to make money, again, this falls very, very short. Again, compare that to something like Claude Code. I build it. It's my code. I can sell it however I want. I can package it however I want. I can take things that are open source. Not the case with n8n. And that's a huge issue if you're someone who's in this to build to make money. So those are the three areas where n8n struggles, and they're areas that are becoming more and more apparent in today's day and age. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is not an n8n hit piece. n8n is a tool, and it's the best tool for the job in many instances. But what is its lane? When does it make sense to use? Let's talk about that now, because I think there's three specific places where n8n should still be your go-to, because there's still three areas where n8n wins. Number one is its speed to deployment with simple or medium difficulty projects. Number two is its accessibility for non-technical teams. And number three is its entire integration ecosystem. So let's talk about those. So let's start with number one, which is its speed to deployment with simple or medium-sized projects. n8n is still king here. If I want to put together a very quick MVP with a relatively linear idea that I know how I want it to start from beginning to end, I can do that in n8n in 5-10 minutes, and I can do it in a visual manner, which is very easy to both explain to a non-technical team, but also troubleshoot and iterate upon. Versus if I try to do something like that in Claude Code, it involves a lot of additional overhead that may just not make sense at these early stages. And that speed to deployment on these lower level projects, a lot of this glue work, that sort of internal tools behind the scenes, isn't something you can dismiss out of hand. And it is where n8n is 100% a winner. And piggybacking off of that is point number two, which is accessibility to non-technical teams. And this is not something that can be dismissed. A large part of n8n's meteoric rise was its accessibility. It was the ability to allow people who weren't technical to actually get their hands dirty and start doing things that were completely outside their wheelhouse a few years ago, but were actually realistic for them to build because it was visual, because it was relatively simple. So if you're dealing with a client or a team that is full of people who quote unquote aren't technical, yet they need to get hands-on on this project, may need to edit it, may need to actually troubleshoot it, well, n8n is brilliant for that. Versus the alternative, which is like, hey, I built this Python app for you. Here's the GitHub repo. Go ahead and edit it as you need. Well, that's a bridge too far, frankly, for honestly, 99% of the population. So if you're building things for teams of non-developers who do need to get hands-on, frankly, n8n totally shines in that department. And lastly, the integration system of n8n is pretty unmatched. There's what, 400-500 built-in integrations inside of n8n that essentially abstract away the entire authentication process, which frankly can be a pain in the butt, even if you're using something like Claude Code. And that integration ecosystem and that abstraction layer is, again, huge for some of this internal background glue work that essentially keeps a lot of businesses running with low-level automations. So let's kind of recap where we are in 2026 with all these tools, because the gap between n8n and these coding agents like Claude Code used to be a crack, but now it's a canyon, and it's a canyon that's getting larger and larger. But that doesn't mean n8n is dying. It just means n8n has a very specific lane now. And while again, 6 months to 12 months ago, the highway was kind of dominated by n8n, well, now maybe it just has a couple lanes on the right-hand side. And that's okay, because again, it's a tool. You're an AI developer. You should be somewhat tool agnostic. We just want to solve problems and use the correct tool for the job. This isn't a hit on n8n. This isn't me trying to hype up Claude Code. It's just the reality. And if you want to become a more mature AI developer, it is imperative you understand which lane you're in for which particular job, which means the true power is in knowing how to do both. We do not want to be a one-trick pony. But I also think it's important to have these conversations, especially in the AI space where these things are just changing so rapidly. So that's where I'm going to leave you for today. As always, check out the links in the description and in the comments if you're looking for more resources about both Claude Code and n8n, because I think they still have a ton of value no matter where you are in your AI journey. Tons of resources in the free school. I also have Chase AI Plus, which is if you're a little more serious about this and you're trying to figure out, hey, how can I actually use these skills to make money? So make sure to check that out as well. And as always, I'll see you around.